Hello. Did you know that learning is like a cartoon? You have really high hopes and you expect to gain a lot and you really realize that there's a huge struggle that just puts you through the ringer. Now, Jean Piaget, he was kind of like a cartoon character, kind of like the coyote who was always planning on how to capture his prey. However, in his search, Piaget found something even better than a roadrunner. It was called the cognitive development theory. This theory explains how children interact with their environment in order to learn as they mature. And it's how they use those experiences to build on new information. Now, this when he began this search, Piaget described it as genetic epistemology. In other words, where does learning begin? Where does thinking begin? How do we get it? And he realized that children, well, babies, they're born with innate schema, innate background knowledge. They know how to suckle, and they know that if you put your finger in their hands, they're going to squeeze it. But those are all innate, and really they're not learned. They're just in us already. Uh, so, like I said before, Piaget believed in schemas or mental representations or background knowledge or building blocks that we use as stepping stones in order to gain or to learn new information. Um, Schemas could be reflected in three modes. The first mode, let's call it assimilation. Uh, Assimilation, takes what you already know and it helps you apply it to a new situation or new information and be able to learn using your background. Now, the second mode of schema is accommodation. Now, with accommodation, sometimes background knowledge is just not enough in order to understand the new information. So we need to make adjustments in our learning or in how we're learning in order to better understand the new stuff. The third mode of schemas is when you find equilibration. Equilibration is when you're capable of explaining your understanding of anything that you've learned. I mean, you just feel that confidence. But in order to reach all of this, Jean Piaget describes four stages of cognitive development. The changes that we go through between birth and adulthood and beyond. The first stage, he called it the sensory stage, the birth to age 2. Um, at this stage, well, the innate schemas are in play. Babies are drinking milk and suckling, and they are squeezing onto fingers, and they do react to certain um, things in the environment. But really, this is really the age where children begin to form mental pictures of objects, and they know that now those objects exist, and they're learning that there's new things in life every day. Which takes us to the second stage, the pre-operational stage, which is between ages 2 and 7. Now at the pre-operational stage, children have the ability to think symbolically and to make one thing stand for another. There's a lot of role playing. There could be a lot of exaggeration, at this stage, and then it's really just growing up, which brings us to the third stage, called the formal operational stage. I'm sorry, the concrete operational stage, which is between ages 7 through 11. And at this stage, children begin to think logically uh, and can work things out mentally. Probably, let's take a look at third graders doing multiplications or additions and subtractions. Um, it's simply the beginning of abstract thinking. They're beginning to realize that there's imagination. Anyways, it brings us to the fourth and final stage, called the formal operational stage, which takes us between ages 11 to adulthood. Now at this stage, we continue to think abstractly, and we begin to form hypotheses and to test them, and we're capable of accomplishing and making decisions based on what we believe, based on background knowledge and schemas and the changes we made to those schemas in order to reach our final conclusions. So if we really look at it, cognitive development theory revolves around discovery learning. Now, discovery learning really allows children to explore and interact with the environment and learn and develop at their own pace. And I'll talk more about this in a few minutes when I discuss the social cultural theory. Thank you.